Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Shireen and today I'll be talking to you about my favorite Jo Malone fragrances. If you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be making a lot more makeup and beauty related videos in future. So let's get started. We've got 9 fragrances to talk about. The first one I'm going to talk about is Tuberose Angelica, which is the first Jo Malone fragrance that I ever bought. This is a very full-bodied fragrance. It's a women's fragrance. It's quite long-lasting. It's a cologne intense. My mother really liked it as well. So when I first bought it, she really wanted the fragrance. So I gave it to her for her birthday, and then I bought it again for another £128. So it's a really good fragrance. And it lasts a long time. So this bottle will probably, and I still haven't gotten through a quarter of it. So this one lasts a long time. So this top note has Angelica, which is a herb, and then the second note is tuberose, which is the middle note, and the base note is amber. So it's a very voluptuous, big statement-making fragrance. So if you like that kind of bold fragrance, it's quite strong, go for the tuberose Angelica. It's a white floral. You will love it. And the nose behind it is Marie Salomon, and it was launched in 2014. The second fragrance I'm going to talk about is Jasmine, Sambac, and Marigold. So this fragrance is quite special. The jasmine in it is from India, and it's got marigold in it as well. The nose behind it is Celine Roux, and it was launched in 2018, so it's one of the newer fragrances from Jo Malone. It's a women's fragrance. It's a cologne intense. It's moderate to long lasting, so it's not as long lasting as, say, the Jo Malone Tuberose Angelica, but it's still quite long lasting. So the top note is marigold, the middle note is jasmine and honey, and the base note is amber. And it's a lovely floral fragrance if you like, again, statement-making fragrances that last a long time. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about is Wild Bluebell. So Wild Bluebell is an interesting fragrance because the donations from this fragrance, a lot of donations came from Jo Malone to a wildlife trust, because bluebell is an endangered species. And this fragrance was launched in 2011, and the nose behind it was Christine Nagel, and she's done the Miss Dior fragrances, and C. Armani, and Hermes fragrances, and a lot of Guerlain fragrances as well. So if you like her fragrances, you might like this one. It's quite moderate, so it doesn't last as long as the Cologne Intenses, but it's still a really lovely floral fragrance that reminds me of walking through a forest. So the top note is bluebell and clove. Of course, it's not the real bluebell because it's an endangered species. The middle note is lily of the valley and jasmine, and the base note is white amber and musk. So this was launched in 2011. I'm not sure if I've mentioned, but yeah, this is a really lovely women's fragrance. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about is Honeysuckle and Divana. So this one was launched in 2018. I'm not sure if I can show it to you. This one is another women's fragrance. It was, the nose behind it is Anne Flippo. It's moderate lasting, so it doesn't last as long as, again, the Cologne Intenses. Its top note is Divana, which is a green plant, which is similar to licorice. It's got some licorice notes. The middle note is honeysuckle, English honeysuckle, and rose, and the base note is moss, which is quite earthy and damp. So if you like an earthy, damp, musky fragrance, this is your kind of go-to fragrance, and I love this fragrance very much. I didn't really think about it too much, and I got a sample of this fragrance from Jo Malone, and I really liked it, and then I ended up buying it. So what's next? We have Frangipani Flower, which is one of the limited edition fragrances by Jo Malone. It was launched in 2019. The nose behind it is Marie Salomon, who did the Jo Malone fragrance Tuberose Angelica. So the same nose did these two fragrances. It's a lovely summery fragrance. It's unisex. The bottle is quite girly, so maybe it might not appeal to every guy, but it's quite a lovely fragrance. It reminds me of being on holiday because the Frangipani flower is actually a flower that it grows native to Thailand, where I used to go on holiday every year during Chinese New Year. So that reminds me of that time when I was a child. The top note of this fragrance is lemon. The middle note of it is frangipani and ylang ylang and jasmine, and the base note is sandalwood and benzoin. And It's a lovely fragrance. It doesn't last very long. It lasts moderately, but it's a lovely fragrance and it's very summery. So I'd really recommend this fragrance for summer. The next fragrance I recommend is Nectarine Blossom and Honey. So this one is another unisex fragrance, which was launched in 2005. The nose behind it is actually Jo Malone herself. It's a floral fruity fragrance with green notes at the top, blackcurrant and petitgreen in the middle, with nectarine, and then vetiver and peach and plum at the base note. It's a really lovely, sweet, fruity fragrance, floral again. I'm not sure many men would like it. I find it quite girly, but it's got that light fragrance to it, so it's not extremely floral or extremely fruity. So I guess it could work for men as well. But I love this very much. It's quite light and quite green. Then the last one, not the last one, sorry. I still have 3 more fragrances to talk about, but I'm just getting out of breath. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about is Tropical Cherimoya, which is another limited edition fragrance by Jo Malone. Now, this fragrance is quite interesting. I don't know the nose behind it, so I don't know who decided to create this fragrance, but it's a unisex fragrance. It's quite sweet. It's launched in 2018. It's a limited edition, so it means that you can't buy it from Jo Malone anymore, but you might be able to find it online. It's got pear and passion flower at the top note, cherimoya in the middle note, and tonka bean as the base note. So it's a very, if you liked the tonka bean fragrance from Jo Malone, you might like this fragrance. It's quite sweet, and I love this fragrance very much. It's nothing like anything I've smelt before, but I think if you've ever tried a fragrance that is, let me just spray it, that is kind of like cherries and sweet. It's got a maraschino cherry kind of smell to it, but it's in a nice way. So that's the Tropical Cherimoya, and I love the bottle. It's a really cool bottle design. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about, second last one, is another limited edition fragrance from Jo Malone. It's called Nettle and Wild Achillea. So the top note is nettle and yarrow, the middle note is bergamot and white musk, and the base note, is white musk and bergamot. And it's a limited edition, like I said before. It's a unisex fragrance again. It's floral and green and very fresh. It was launched in 2019. The nose behind it is Jan Vasnier, who did English Oak and Hazelnut, and Louise Turner, who did The Good Girl and Bad Boy fragrances by Carolina Herrera. It's moderate lasting, so it doesn't last very long, but it's a really nice, fresh fragrance that is quite green as well, and it's got that mysterious quality to it. So if you like that kind of fragrance to be mysterious and kind of fresh and green, then go for this fragrance. You will love it. And the last fragrance we're going to talk about is Orange Blossom. This is the second fragrance I ever bought from Jo Malone, and it's probably my favorite actually now. I wear this quite a lot, and the bottle is almost finished, as you can see. I need to get it replaced. But this one is really lovely. The top note is clementine, the middle note is orange blossom and water lily and orris, and the base note is balsamic vinegar. It lasts moderately, and it's a floral fragrance for women, and it was launched in 2003. The nose behind it is Jean-Claude Deluel, who did Clinique, Happy, and Estee Lauder Pleasures for Men. It's about £50, so I will definitely buy it again, and I love it very much. So that comes to the end of our video, and I hope this helps you find your Jo Malone fragrance, and maybe it's for Christmas time or a special gift for yourself or for someone else. But I hope you find this useful, and I hope you stay tuned for my next video. Take care. Bye.